It was in the midst of this atmosphere of controlled decadence that Django played out his part, not so much officially protected as officially exploited. As far as somebody like Goebbels was concerned, the grand shows, the foreign tours, the travelling and recording would all have been considered as just a small part of the French contribution to the German war effort. Despite Django's delusions of grandeur, whether we choose to call it collaboration or not, the fact is that Django, like his contemporaries, had to play and perform in order to stay alive. We can never know for certain exactly how Django managed to survive the occupation, if he was protected, or to what extent he collaborated. Theories that attempt to explain this period in Django's life are mostly founded on thin and unverifiable anecdotal evidence. The mystery of his gypsy background, along with his preternatural talent and a premature death at the age of just 43, have formed a ready foundation upon which the myth of Django continues to be built.
Django represents perhaps par excellence the romantic, the gypsy, the artist who is configured in a particular way, and part of the mythologizing process very much likes the idea of preserving or even adding to this romantic figure, his disappearances. Was some mysterious German officer fan assisting him in some way or protecting him in some way? There is a sense in which we might perhaps like to believe that, even though we don't know that it's true.
What we can be sure of is that during the occupation, Django was integral to the survival of jazz in war-torn Europe. Just as Benny Goodman and Glenn Miller's music came to constitute the soundtrack to a democracy at war after December 1941, so Django represented individuality and freedom of expression in the face of the Nazis' efforts to homogenize society.
During the war, music was the thing that pulled people through. You know, dances and swing bands, and it was at its height, really. It was somehow the perfect antidote to what was going on.
More than this, Django, along with a handful of others during the 1930s and early 40s, had effectively appropriated the American jazz idiom, nurtured and modified it, and made it truly European.
Django Reinhardt was the first great European jazz musician. He probably remains the most famous and the most honoured European jazz musician worldwide, ever.
He had an enormous impact not only on the French people, he had an enormous impact worldwide, and he had a great impact on all the great guitar players, if we specifically think about guitar playing.
Stefan used to go and make records with every famous guitar player, and so he'd say to me, well, I have to make a record with Belize tomorrow. And I go, oh, that's great, Steph. He goes, well, maybe. And then he'd do the record and come back and I say, how was he? He said, well, it was okay, but I tell you something, if Django was alive, he would kill them all.